Welcome to the Erasmus Foundation podcast. My name is Paul Nugent. Are you looking for answers to life and its meaning? Then this may well be the very podcast you need to listen to. In a series of podcasts, we are going to look at the difficult questions of life and apply spiritual knowledge to find out the answers. Hello. Today we are going to talk about the subject, a need to think. And with me to discuss this is Lord Alt from Spirit. So greetings, Lord Alt.
Greetings to you. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
More than a pleasure, Lord Alt. Thank you. So this is obviously a subject close to your heart, Lord Alt, and I'll ask you a straightforward question, and that is, do people need to think more?
Yes, very simply. And I will justify that by saying that if people on the earth were to think more, they would allow themselves a little more time. They would not be so stressed, rushing about. They would give themselves time to consider life in many, many ways, which would prevent accidents, it would prevent illness, it would prevent so many bad things that happen. And on the more positive side, I would also suggest that giving more thought, using your mind, not the earth brain, but the mind, your spiritual part, would enable mankind generally to evolve, to invent more, to create more, and really to learn more. So that is how important thinking is and should be encouraged more.
Many people probably believe that they do think, Lord Alt, and are you saying that they're not really thinking in the right way?
Possibly not in the right way, but more importantly, they should be giving time to quietude, to reflection, to self-inspection, to having quiet time to consider possibly a problem which can be better resolved by thought and application of thought. All of this is so important.
People tend to talk a lot, don't they, Lord Alt? Rather than listen, they tend to talk, and that must inhibit thought, I would have thought.
Oh, indeed, of course. It is the exact opposite of thought. It requires thought to speak, yes, but then sometimes people do not give enough thought and consideration before they speak. And sometimes people speak because they just wish to make sound, because as if mankind was fearful of silence, which me, coming from my land in spirit, seems so strange that man could be fearful of silence. When silence is so needful within your world. And on the rare occasion, man finds silence. He learns to appreciate it very quickly, its benefits, and how powerful really silence is, enabling anyone to be able to think more, to create and resolve problems so much better.
I think people also, this is generalizing a little bit, but people tend to talk because they want to be noticed, want to be observed and in the center of things. And perhaps that's an ego thing, maybe.
Yes, but why should this be? Because, yes, it is true. And I would suggest there is a mental imbalance in a person if they seek attention. Why should they do this? Are they so fearful of them own selves? Are they so needful to be respected and considered by others? When, of course, graciousness should be a natural, rightful process of life on the earth. Sadly, it is not. But it will come. That graciousness must be at all times. And it will be then that people will appreciate silence more.
I think some people really want others to think for them, don't they? They really not prepared to put in the work themselves. They want someone to resolve their issues, their problems, without putting any effort in themselves. Is that true, would you say?
Yes, that I believe that could be true, yes. And why would this be? Because sloth is a flaw within the earth, a flaw within man, that he should be slothful and reluctant to make the effort to work and to engage in this wise. So, yes, I am sure that must be true.
It's been said many times by Spirit over the years that to get the right answer, you need to ask the right question. And I assume this is down to thought as well.
Indeed, it is. Now, how many people in a situation where they are troubled by some quite serious problem would not consider allowing themselves a quiet moment to meditate or to browse, at least consider in quietude the essence of the problem. But in doing that, by meditation on this subject, you are giving full opportunity to all your creative skills and gifts held within your mind. Again, not brain, within the mind, to then search and find a good solution to the problem you are having. people should do this, and they would find a better solution to their problems. And sometimes when one does this on the earth, one might think, that was a good thought. I didn't think that I had that within me. But then again, what you may be doing is allowing yourself a quiet moment for spirit to draw near and impress you with an idea which might help you in this way. Now, Spirit would not do this while you are meditating, because that would be most ungracious. But if you were to allow yourself a little time afterwards, considering all these issues that might be troubling your mind, you might find solutions will come into your head and help you a great deal. That gift, like so many, is freely available and given to people of the earth by Spirit in so many different ways. And yet, mankind doesn't always appreciate what is being done, and perhaps it matters not that he does appreciate. But more importantly, he is not allowing himself the full opportunities which are available to help him. And surely that must be sad.
Yes, yes, indeed. Now, Lord Alt, thought, as we've been told many times, is the strongest thing in the universe, in a way, isn't it? The power
The strongest
of thought.
force.
Strongest force. Thank you. Strongest force in the universe, and yet man doesn't really appreciate thought at all, not in that to that degree. And considering the fact that we are all here because of the great mind brought us into existence through the power of thought. By thought, indeed. So, what has man got to learn, do you think, to appreciate thought more?
Again, it is very simple. It is finding the meaning of silence, the value of silence, and how it can be of benefit, more than benefit, perhaps an essential in life, both on the earth and, of course, as we have it in spirit. And it is there for a reason. So man must learn what silence is. And in that way, he will discover more about himself. And man needs to. Some plea I would make to mankind of the earth. If man learnt nothing, I would only ask one thing he might learn, and that he is of two things: of a physical body, which of course all are aware of, but so many are not aware that he is also a spirit within that body, the other part of his structure. It is his spiritual self, which in a way, in some respects, is more important. And yet, man, in this age of your fifth civilization, ignores or has no understanding or appreciation of his spiritual self. And that is half of himself he is unaware of and tends to ignore. And that, again, seems so strange, such a confusion to spirit. Of course, we understand. We know this is the age when man is structured like this. But there must come a time when man must start to understand the other half of himself, bringing the two halves together in one. And then, what a wondrous world your world would become. It would progress, evolve. It will leap forward in development in so many, many ways. And that is something I look forward to seeing when I scan the earth at some time in the future. And I am sure you understand this as well, my friend.
Indeed. The world is a noisy place, Lord Alt, at the moment. And many people actually fill their life with noise so they don't have to think. That seems to happen quite a lot too.
Yes, I think that is true. They switch off. Again, what is the fear? Why does man endeavor to shroud himself in noise, to hide silence away, fearful perhaps of what he might find?
Yes, I think that's true, because as we all know, we've all got many flaws in this life and every life we take, and they need to be dealt with and recognized and attempt to work upon. And if you don't give it time to think about such a thing, then you've got no chance at all of doing what needs to be done, have you?
Finding an understanding of your own self.
Yes.
Which is so important. How can man live in a form that he does not understand or know? Is that not a strange mystery?
It is. It is. But I assume then, Lord Alt, this is going to change. And in the future, we're going to expect better things, I hope.
Oh, indeed. It would be total devastation if that did not happen. And I am sure that is not what the Great Mind has planned for your earth.
So how will it be in the future then, Lord Alt? How will things be? Would people spend more time thinking and communicating quietly to one another? Would that be the way of things?
Yes, you have been told how your world is out of balance. And the first step to progress for your earth is for man to learn how to come back into balance. And he will have help in this ways. Certain events and circumstances across his earth will ensure that through change, man will perhaps start to inquire, to question more why things are happening, what is the cause of all these things, and by this means man will learn a little more than he knows now, and from there he will inquire further. He will learn more about spirit, the science of spirit. He will develop technologies and sciences which are unknown to him at present. He will have advances in medical care, which will make such a difference to your world. But also, very importantly, the pace of life within your world must change. And so much disease and illness within your earth is caused by many, many things. Yes, it is caused by the imbalance in your world. Yes, with the temperature rise, with ecological disasters and pollutions, poisonings of this nature, all of this. But also consider man's diseases are also influenced, if not instigated, by his pace of life. It has been said before how stress causes so much illness and disease, and that is not fully appreciated, but it is a truism that needs consideration by the people of your earth.
Indeed. Well, Lord Old, you've given us a lot to think about, and we're coming to the end of our podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
No, just as I say, this is so important. And if only a few people get to hear these words, I hope it instills some meaning for them and of some benefit. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
The Erasmus Foundation is a spiritual teaching and healing foundation based in Laxfield, Suffolk, in the United Kingdom. We have a webpage, www.erasmus-foundation.org. If you would like to be a guest on our podcast, or indeed have further questions for us, then please contact me on paul@erasmus-foundation.org, and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Thank you very much for listening.